Good morning, YouTube. It's your buddy Chop It On coming at you another episode of Chop Talk brought to you by DFSArmy.com. One-stop shop for all things DFS from all sports covered, including tennis today. All sports covered from top to bottom. Coaching, tools, content, the whole bit. You run down to the comment section. You click on the link that takes you to DFSArmy.com. You become a VIP. You unlock everything for one monthly investment in your own game because our goal is to make you a better player. So anyway, follow the coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P, enter that, trigger another 10% discount off, and save a little bit of money because friends don't let friends pay retail. What I'm going to do is break up the MLB slate again today, being a Monday. I've got a lot of stuff to cover, so grab your pen, grab your paper, go refill your coffee because this is going to be hot fire. I've discovered a couple of new ways to maybe add to what we're doing. Now, if you follow me at all, you're going to hear me say things like stay with the course, stay consistent, keep doing the same thing over and over and over. Let variance flow through you. Let the hot streaks come and go. They're going to. It's baseball. It's just what happens. But sometimes you can add little bits to your system. You can tweak things a little bit and see if you can't get a little bit bigger picture, a little bit better picture some cases. I think I found a couple things today. I was just poking around, looking at numbers, kind of goofing, prepping for the video, found a few things, turned a little light bulb on in my head. And I'm always going to try and make logical sense of things, but I'm a minimalist. God, say that 5 times fast. Minimalist. All right. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you guys quick, basic, easy ways to point out numbers and indicators to yourself. And I found a couple others that I might add to it. Like 3-star offenses. Those bug me a little bit because 3 stars, it's like, it's not really a lot. So I expanded to 5 stars. And then through there, I focused a little bit more on the DraftKings Fanduel price gap with batters to see if there isn't, I know there's something there, but I've never paid that much close attention to it. Today I kind of did, and I found a couple of things. So let's dive in. Let's dig through the slate. Let's start just basic routine, just like always. When you add slowly to your system, you're going to still do your system, 90% of it anyway, forwards and backwards, just like you always do. And then you're going to kind of look at some other things that make a little bit of sense as they come up in your process. Follow me out on Twitter, Chopadong. That's the easiest way to interact with me if you're not a member of the VIP in the DFS Army. If you are a member, of course, you find me in Slack channels. I prefer not to do it. I prefer to coach out in the open where we can because more people learn from that, and I'm trying to be as efficient with my time as I can be. On YouTube, I always answer most of my comments when they come through on my phone too. You can find me out there and like and subscribe to the channel. Let's jump in and start tearing up this pitch and slate. Sort by K percentage over here in the research station at DFSArmy.com and bring all of those strikeout pitchers to the top. You get names like, scratch Stanek, I'm going to say it every time, but you get names like Kluber, Cole, Archer, Wood, Wheeler, Porcello, I don't know. I'm starting to get a little lower on the strikeout scale. I don't really want to pay too much attention to these guys. I will look them up and down for price increases sometimes. Didn't really look that far today, although I did just look at Fire, so that's only $500. There's a better one at $800 in Derek Holland. Do I think those guys are trustworthy? No. Do I think those guys make a lot? No. Would you take Derek Holland? He's priced up. Would you take him against New York right now? Come on. Probably not. It's not safe. It's not saying that it's not something that you can't do. I'm just saying it's not safe. You are taking a known gamble. Therefore, I don't want to hear the tilting when he screws up and blows up on you because you know it's more likely to happen than taking other pitchers. And we try not to get too cute with our pitchers in DFS because we want to lock up as many points as we can, as many sure points as we can. That'd be like, you play LeBron James because you know he's not going to score under 40 points in NBA on most given nights. Well, you want to play those types of pitchers too that are going to get you 30, 40 points and you're not going to have much risk of a blow up. There's a few things we can do to check that. When we look at the names I wrote down, were mostly up here. I'm looking at price gaps. Garrett Cole's priced way up. Archer's about the same. That's an indication of mediocrity. Alex Wood's actually priced down. Porcello's priced up a little bit. I'm not looking at Porcello tonight because facing Cleveland's not something I want to do. Facing St. Louis right now is not something I want to do. Facing Atlanta, maybe not something that I want to do. I'm having trouble finding some cheaper pitchers tonight. I'm not really going much below Zach Wheeler, and I don't like that he's not priced up all that much. Again, that's not my main deciding factor. That's just the first thing I'm looking at so that now I can look into the numbers and start deciding whether or not I want to target these guys. I'm already looking at maybe some names who I want to look at. Kluber and Cole obviously lead the slate. I kind of was considering Archer a little bit, Probably not so much now. That would be almost foolishly saving money given the track record he's had. But we'll dive in a little bit and look at his game log. Maybe I've already forgotten what his game log looked like. That's the third thing we'll do today is we'll do a little bit of game log hunting. Alex Wood. Okay, so when I go over here to the Vegas odds, if you remember, that's kind of the second thing I tend to check. Minus 105, minus 170 for Garrett Cole. Okay, I'm priced up. I mean, his salary's expensive, but I'm priced up on DraftKings, indicating a good matchup, and I've got a minus 170 favorite. I know I'm going to have a good score. Garrett Cole's probably one of the better pitchers on the slate tonight. Sorry, you hear me yawn a lot. I drink coffee. I don't know. It's one of those things. Minus 160 for who's that? Alex Wood. That's an interesting favorite, being that they're facing St. Louis. Minus 200 for Chase Anderson. I'm kind of not a big fan of his. So looking at the entry level stuff, that's what we see. Looking at K score, because we take K percentage here and we add it to the K percentage here. And we find Kluber to 484, Cole to 481, Archer 480, Wood 438, which is pretty low again for a guy that is, he's priced down. DK might have him figured out. Because on paper he looks great. Minus 160 favorite, under 9,000, 438 K score kind of makes you go, eh. Facing a hot team in St. Louis, a little spooky. Wheeler is a 460 K score. So if you wrote all those down and you're surveying the situation, you're looking, Kluber's facing Boston. For me, that's a downgrade. Otherwise he's a great pitcher. Cole facing Seattle doesn't scare me. Sort of an upgrade. Cole's going to be the lead pitcher on this slate. 10-6, for salary, he's priced up to 13 some on DK. Minus 170 favorite, 481 K score, 99 DFSA grade. When you look at those, I mean, it's going to be really, really hard to beat. I might look at, down at Kluber. Kluber's going to be second fiddle, and playing Boston I don't like. Look down to Zach Wheeler at 9,100, because I kind of tend to do these in salary form so that I can then compare, because I'm trying to beat Cole. I'm trying to find discounts off of either points, Vegas odds, something. I'm trying to find something that's going to entice me to save that money. I want to see if I can get comparable production for cheaper. And if I can find that, I'll go with it. But I see Zach Wheeler at a 9,100, which is a $1,500 savings. He's not really priced up on DraftKings. He's a minus 110 out of Vegas, which isn't great. It's 460 K score, which is a little bit lower than Cole. But he's got himself a 98 DFSA grade. Computer saw something matched up. Probably doesn't like San Francisco, so it's probably giving him a little bit too much credit. So I don't mind Wheeler tonight. My third pitcher probably would be back up to Kluber. Minus 105 is a little freaky because it's kind of just a pick'em game. 484 K score because Boston doesn't strike out that much. Kluber's always over 500. So he's gonna test. He might hit his floor. He might be all right there, but he's not gonna test his ceiling tonight unless it's an outlier. Great GPP pivot off Garrett Cole, by the way, always is. When you end up with a situation like that where they're priced similarly, you can take largely the same types of bats. You're hunting for value, but you're going to end up on a lot of the same teams. And then if your pitcher outperforms that pitcher, you end up with a little bit better night. But it's a little bit more of a GPP pivot because I think we've already seen Garrett Cole's in a little bit better position tonight. If I look at Alex Wood, there's no upside with Alex Wood, honestly, and especially in this matchup facing St. Louis. He has 73 DFSA grade, a 438 K score. He's got the minus 160 favorite out of Vegas, which is a little bit odd. It kind of stands out as a weird number, given that all the other numbers are kind of low, and St. Louis is running pretty hot lately. So that one's actually pretty intriguing. And the only other, I can't really quite get down to Chris Archer. So minus 120 favorite, a 480 K score, and a 96 DFSA grade facing Atlanta. That part's intriguing to me. I'll look at that. I'll go with that DFSA grade sometimes for like GPP type stuff. If I'm throwing out 10, 12 lineups and I want to put him in one or two, that's okay. That's not going to really kill me because there's something in those numbers that the research station here is picking up on that's telling us that he's in a very, very good spot. Not just a good spot, but a really good spot. I don't see it. I also don't really match up those numbers a lot and really dig deep. So but I'll trust it. There's something there. I would say he's GPP viable today, but I'm probably sticking with Cole, and I might look at a little bit of Zach Wheeler, and that's probably about it for me tonight for pitchers. It's probably about all I'm really interested in running. What I will show you is how we game log hunt. We dive into Fanduel, call up any contest on the main slate. You're obviously going to click on Garrett Cole's name, and you're going to look here. I look at the last 4 starts. Now, I honestly look at a lot more than that. I'll come back through here and look. But I wrote down the last 4 starts. And for Garrett Cole, 61, 25, 30, and 42. And then over those last 4 starts, I added up his strikeouts. Is he striking people out? And I got 33 stops on the slate today for what the slate offers today. Granted, we're not going up against, Kershaw in his prime or Scherzer or anybody like that. So Garrett Cole's going to be probably your lead strikeout pitcher on the slate. And given that he's not facing Boston, he's facing who was it, Seattle, then, he might test his upside a little bit more because Seattle strikes out more than Boston. Little things like that are what should be creeping into your mind. They're going to create noise, they're going to create clutter, but you're still going to go back to the fundamentals of how does he compare with price, K-score, and Vegas odds. And Garrett Cole compares the best so far. I'm looking at these to solidify myself. How much do I really like him? Am I going to take him in 5 or 6 lineups out of 10, or am I going to take him in like 8? How much do I really, really like him? I'm trying to get a sense of how much weight I want to put on him tonight with my exposures. How certain am I that he's the lead dog and that nobody else is even really going to compete with him too much? Because if nobody else competes with him, then you have to have him to win. And if I have to have him to win, I want him everywhere. I want him in damn near every lineup I run. So when I see 61, 25, 30, okay, when I go back even further, it's still 40s and 50s. And I add that up, and I'm looking at about a 5x. How often does he hit 50 points? 1, 2, not often because it's hard to hit, but look at all the 40s. He's consistent. He doesn't blow up much. There's only, a 24 and a 25 in there, and that's it. 30, 35 isn't going to kill you. It's not going to help you win GPPs, but it's not going to kill you. So these types of situations, this is a very, very safe pitcher, a very cash-safe pitcher. He's fine. As my lead dog, he's very, very good. I run into Kluber, and I do the same thing. Last 4 scores, you can see down here, 49, 30, 58, 44. Again, fairly consistent. Not a lot of ups and downs. That's what you get out of these big dogs. Still needs to be 50 points. Once, -7's terrible. Twice, 12, 7, 9. He tends to blow up a little bit more than Garrett Cole, so he's not as safe. That's why he's more of a GPP type pitcher. Still fine most of the time, but his blowups tend to be really bad. You see that? 26 strikeouts over the last 4 starts. Very consistent, 7, 7, 7, 5. Very consistent. But you get one of those nights where he only strikes out 2 people and gets pulled in the 4th, and you're screwed. So just not quite as consistent. I did look at Porcello just to see, and I see a lot of the GPP pitcher totally. Zach Wheeler we looked at. Consistent, except for the last start when everybody was on him. 27, 49, 58, 49. Very good run here. But still, he's okay. Still, at 45, much better than 10,000. When he was 10,000, I didn't count on the 50. I just couldn't see it. But 45, I can see it a little bit more. 49, 49, 50. And at 40, when you're looking for a 45, a 30, 35 is not going to kill you as much as it would when you're looking for a 50. Makes sense? So looking down those starts, again, fairly consistent guy. Got a couple of bad starts in there. And strikeout-wise, 3, 8, 9, 7. 27 strikeouts, second most on the pitchers that we're looking at. 1 more than Kluber. Who'd have thought that? Come down to Alex Wood, and then we'll round it out with Chris Archer. Could there be a more cash-safe pitcher than Alex Wood? Now, he might be priced up a little high at 8,700. Because you need to be seeing 45 points or so out of this, and you're not even seeing 40. But is there any more cash-safe pitcher than a flat line like this? No variance in the guy. That's why I said his upside's very limited. He's not going to go get you 60 points. He might get you 40, but he might get you 30. But he's not going to get you 25 very often. And at that, if he was priced a little lower, low 8s, upper 7s, that's where he should be. So he's probably overpriced. Looking at strikeout potential, what's that? 10, 19? So not even a lot of strikeout potential. When I look at Chris Archer, it's going to be the same thing. Only he's very, very flat. That's not, I mean, that's cash safe, and it's got a very steady floor. But for 8,000, it needs to at least be above 30. Come on, man. Again, overpriced. And this is what we get this season on Fanduel and DraftKings. We get a lot of this. Their prices get increased on all their good starts, and then their prices don't decrease as quickly on their bad starts. You know, maybe a little bit more on DraftKings than FanDuel, but still, late in the year, everybody's priced up. That's why the game gets so damned hard. It's not, you know, earlier in the year when, you know, Bryce Harper and Mike Trout and these guys, or Mookie Betts, these guys are only $4,500 to $5,000. Roster them all. Pitchers are priced low. Chris Archer would have been $7,000. Alex Wood would have been $7,500. Roster them. Not when they're $8,000 and $9,000 though. You got to get off them. You got to look for a little bit better value. We're going to find it in Garrett Cole. We're going to find it, you know, maybe in a little bit of Zach Wheeler. You might find the upside in a Corey Kluber. Am I making sense? Strikeouts here are nice. He does have some strikeout potential, you know, but he doesn't test his ceiling all that often right now. It's a pretty average pitcher right now. And this is just death. When you're spending $8,000 and you want to get 40 points and you're only getting 20 to 24 consistently, and that's an outlier. If you guessed right on him back when he faced Tampa, I guess it's a little bit of a revenge narrative maybe. But if you figured that out, good, go for it. That's a GPP narrative though. All right, so that's a little bit of the game log stuff. You can do that with bats. You can do that with arms. You're looking for steady Eddie stuff for cash. You're looking for upside for GPPs. You're looking for who's been testing their upside lately. And if they've been testing their floor, like below their floor, their subfloor, their basement, then you're going to relegate them to GPP only if they're in a good matchup. You don't trust them in cash. You get off of them. So we'll get out of there. We'll move over to a little bit of the weather, see if there's any weather concerns. No, 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 no. Okay? Not worried about weather. So we can get off of that. I will show you a little bit in Fangraphs here, which is something fun. You see me do this on Mondays. I'll post it for the week where I take the top 10, top 12 pitchers, team ERAs, and I consider them, you know, this is a little bit trickier what we're going to do today, and I'll save this for a little bit later. But when we dive into the research station, now that we've got a little bit of idea on pitching, who our safer pitchers are, we're going to sort by ascending again. Probably got to do it twice since it's sitting idle for a little while. And we're going to go down here to about Hernandez or Gomber. And these are our blow-up type pitchers, the ones that are prone to blow up. This is phase 1, star 1, and I've got 5 stars, remember? Star 1. Minnesota, Oakland, Toronto, Cincinnati, Milwaukee, Houston. Those are your first stars. Okay? Scroll over to Vegas implied runs, opponent runs, sort by descending, anything over a 5. There's only 3 of them today. You got to scroll back over. Milwaukee, Minnesota, Toronto. What's Minnesota's average runs per game? This just popped into my head. Okay, 4.5. If it was like Detroit where it's a 3.9 again or something like that, and they're scheduled to score over 5, that's a massive indicator. Not so much, but Milwaukee, Minnesota, Toronto are your high implied runs. Higher than Boston. Higher than Cleveland. These are high implied run teams. And we'll go double red. Take the WOBA number, sort by descending. Watch for the pink over on this side. This side's pink all the way down to about Felix Hernandez. And we're looking for pink in here. So Hernandez, Fires, Smith, Gaussman, Gascan, Homer Bailey. So when I come over here and I look at the names that I wrote down, Milwaukee, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, Texas, and Houston. These guys down in here and up here, right? So that's where I stopped before with 3 stars. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to see how much workload this ties on to me, because I'm not interested in spending the time, you know, in the hours of research. Not my deal. It's not what you follow me for either. But I go into FanDuel or Fangraphs and I start looking at the top 10s. And the way I do that is I sort by pitching or hitting, team stats. You come under here under teams or leaders, batting leaders 2018, click it, team stats, batting, all teams, last 30 days, and you would come down here and you would sort by runs, which is about in the same column area, and then you would go back up, flip it to pitching, last 30 days, Come down here, go to the standard, because it's not on the dashboard, go to standard. Well, it is, but ERA is all the way over here, and it doesn't make for a good picture when I put it on Twitter for you guys. But I go to standard, I click ERA, it sorts by top dogs here, or actually worst. The problem here, the time-consuming part here, is it's not Texas. It's Texas I'm wanting to pick on. So I need to know who Texas is facing. So I got to go back to my research station, and I got to look. Texas is facing Oakland. So this actually means Oakland today. And that's the time-consuming part, and that's the confusing part. But I went ahead and I wrote it all down for you in advance. The runs scored, the top 30 days, the last 30 days, the top run-producing teams, offenses, Texas, the ones that are playing today, because I crossed off the ones that are not playing today. Texas, New York Mets, Boston, Oakland, LA, Dodgers, St. Louis. So those 5 or 6 teams get the 4th star. Now I went by ERA, and again, those that are playing today that are giving up a lot of runs as a team, that's a good check mark to follow. They tend to give up runs. Oakland, Baltimore, Toronto, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, Houston, and Cincinnati. See, Oakland is facing Texas. Baltimore is facing Toronto. Toronto is facing Baltimore. That's a game stack if you want it. GPP game stack all the same. So what I did is I just scrolled down through here and took out the teams that weren't playing today, but targeted the teams that were facing them and created my own list. So now I've got 5 stars. Does anybody check all the boxes? Are they DFSA grade facing a bad pitcher? Are they scheduled high in implied run totals? Are they facing a double red pitcher that gives up WOBA to both sides of the plate, that struggles to get both sides of the plate out? Are they scoring a lot of runs in the last 30 days? And is the team they're facing giving up a lot of runs in the last 30 days? 5 very logical boxes to check. And nobody does it today. Not a one. So when I kick this thing off and go over here to the research station, nobody. When I look at the offenses, not a one of these teams checks all 5 boxes. Nobody checks 4 boxes. The best we got today is a 3-star offense. We've got quite a few of them. 3-star offenses are Minnesota, Oakland, Toronto, Milwaukee, and Houston. By that rating system I just did, those are the ones checking the most boxes. They're the ones in the better spots as teams. You're going to find the specific players inside those teams. 2-star offenses, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, Texas. 1-star GPP type offenses that hit a good indicator, but they only hit the one. So you know, if that's what you focus on, you might like them. But if you focus on, I want to see other areas support my argument, that's just, these are kind of like fluky flash in the pans, or I'm counting on outliers. I can see where I can get the outlier based on a pitcher's WOBA against, or a high implied run total out of Vegas, or whatever. So I can see it being possible. Pittsburgh, New York Mets, Boston, LA Dodgers, St. Louis, Baltimore Orioles. See, like Baltimore, we know is facing bad pitching, giving up a lot of runs. So you might see in the 6th inning they've only got 1 run, and then boom, they blow up the bullpen because they're facing bad pitching. And it may save you there, and they may not. I don't know. But what I'm trying to get at is we've got 3-star, 2-star, 1-star offenses, but we looked at 5 categories. I can't wait. I'm going to do this for a while. I can't wait to see the day I get a 5-star offense and see what they do and track it. But again, we're just trying to logically make sense and break these things down and focus now on the teams. Now, here's what I also wrote down. If you're looking at cash games on a big slate like this, I want you to take this L7 WOBA and I want you to go greater than 400 instead of 350. Because if you're looking at cash game type stuff, you're looking for high WOBAs, you're not really looking for stacking, you can stack, I do stack in cash, but if you're really looking for it, you just want the best players from the best, and you just want to kind of spread it out and do whatever. You're going to be picking from the highest guys you can. The other thing that I did is I sorted by descending here, so that I can bring these up to the top and organize the teams a little bit better. Because I'm going to be trying to look for 400 or better for you, but I'm going to be playing 350 or better for me. That makes sense. The other thing that I also said was if you're looking for GPP type pitchers, because for hybrids you can go down to the 350, because in hybrids you're going to stack more. Cash, you don't stack as much, or you don't really worry about it. If it happens, it happens. Hybrids, I'm looking to correlate, I'm looking to stack, I'm looking to hit that offense that scores 8 runs tonight. GPP is I'm also looking to stack, but I want ISO, I want bombs, I want power. And so I would take this L7 category and I would sort it by 250 or higher, maybe 300 or higher. See who over the last 7 days isn't hitting for tremendous power. And I might look for that. So there's just all different ways to use this tool. There's so many different ways depending on the games that you want to play. And you have to learn. You've got a foundation now. If you followed me for a while, you've got a little bit of a foundation of how I do things. And then you can add to it a little bit. And you can kind of say, hey, this makes sense. I'm looking for a little bit of power. So for a GPP type lineup, so let me prioritize that. I'm still going to look at the guys that are playable by WOBA, but I'm going to prioritize by power. See? That's how you might take that system and morph it a little bit. So when we dive into the 3-star offenses, we're going to look at Minnesota first. I don't like Minnesota, but they're running hot, and Giolito's awful. So if Tyler Austin gets the start at 26 at-bats, you know, if Bobby Wilson gets the start at 16 at-bats in the last 14 days, if they get a spot start, play them. They've done well over that sample size. But you're more focused on a Joe Mauer, Miguel Sano, Max Kepler a little bit, Jack Cave a little bit. You know? The other thing that we're going to look at, pricing between Fanduel and Draftkings. I mentioned we would pay attention to that. I'm noticing there's generally about a $1,000 price gap. You know, $1,200 here, $1,400 here, $800 here, $1,000 here, $1,000 here, $1,000 here. Generally speaking, there seems to be about a $1,000 price gap between bats. So I'm not going to get excited and say, oh, he's priced up, when I know that's the norm. And that's what we're trying to always find when we add something to our process. What's the baseline? What are we absolutely trying to figure out? And these are things that we discuss inside DFSArmy.com. These are the things that we can discuss with the coaching situations. This is how we're going to get you better. I'm just throwing you numbers out here on YouTube and showing you players. And if you want the cheat sheet version, fine. But you're not going to get the controls of this tool. You're not going to get the domination station optimizer. You're not going to get these things to be able to really control your own game and your own destiny. You're going to be completely dependent upon me. And I go up and down with variance, just like you do. So personally, I like controlling things myself. I'm not exactly a control freak in life, but I like being able to control. And that's worth investing into me. And then I get the coaching where I can bounce the ideas off of people and I can ask people. I have coaches too. I go to Football Geek and I go to Boomer's Daddy and I go to Donuts and I go to those guys and I ask them questions. Those are guys, and I respect them all, and I'm leaving out Dan, and I'm leaving out, you know, other guys. Anthony's a great cash game player. I'm leaving out guys, and I'm sorry. I don't mean to do that, but what I'm saying is I go to these guys and I ask for help sometimes when I'm playing a new sport or when I'm playing. So I have my mentors and my coaches too. And so I have that access. You have that access if you become a VIP. So anyway, back to the track here. What we're going to do with Minnesota is we're going to notice that Joe Mauer's $1,400 priced up. It's a little more than $1,000. So I would mark a big old up arrow on Joe Mauer and say he's priced up. Minnesota as a team isn't necessarily priced up. Remember, when they're priced up on DraftKings, we like them. For FanDuel, they're posing a bargain. There's something in the matchup. There's something in the recency. There's something in there that DraftKings sees that FanDuel isn't reacting to. When I go to Oakland, watch this. Fegley, Martini, Olsen, Chapman, Davis, Lowry, those are your playables. The guy's over 400 for cash if Fegley starts. And that's a very small sample size for the 600 WOBA. But Martini, if he starts, and then Olsen, and Chapman, and maybe Davis. I'd put Davis in cash. He's a double bomb waiting to happen. And he's right at the 400 mark. I don't need to draw the line right on 400 when stuff makes sense. I don't like the fact maybe that he's trending down over the last 2 weeks, so maybe he's coming off of that streak a little bit. But that's a judgment call. That's something that you need to make up for yourself. What I'm going to look at over here is that Fegley's got about the $1,500 price increase for Martini. I like that. I like that for cash. He bats at the top of the order. $3,300, only $800 for Matt Olson. So he's not exactly priced up. In fact, he might be a little bit priced down. He might be a value for you DraftKings guys. You might see that and say, whoa, that's a pretty low price. You may see that as, why is he priced down? Or you may see that as, wow, it's close to a FanDuel price. But whatever way you see it, stick with it for a while, a couple of weeks, and see if it works. If it works, you're onto something. If it doesn't work, then maybe it was a bust idea. You know, I mean, screen doors on submarines, that's just a theory. It doesn't work. Lone gunman doesn't work. You know, not a good idea. Helicopter ejection seats, right? Solar powered flashlights. Remember those jokes? Matt Chapman priced up $1,300. Look at this, another $1,500 in Chris Davis. If I was a cash gamer running a mini stack, it's hard on DraftKings to do, but on FanDuel, I'd be on Chris Davis and Martini. Boom, boom. Got my 2 mini stack, out I go. I may include a Chapman for 3,000. I may include a Jed Lowry if second base is a scarce position tonight. It's another thing we should do. We haven't done it for a while. Let's go over position scarcity and show position by position and see which positions are deep and which ones aren't. Because when they aren't deep, you tend to pay up for them. When they are deep, you can take the discount. So, at any rate, that priced up as a team, Oakland's in a good spot. DraftKings views Oakland as in a very good spot. Where we go next? We go to Toronto. And I'm only going to do the 3-star offenses for you today. You can get the controls. You can go through the 2-star offenses you want. You're going to find a lot of priced up people today, which is a good thing. I want to watch it pan out. Granderson, Jansen if he starts. Morales, Pilar, McKinney if he starts. Small sample size, 370. Not exactly exciting. Russell Martin, cooling off again. Morales heating up. Flip-flop them. So when I'm looking at the price increases, again, these are your playables over 400, 350s playable, over 400 is what I would consider for cash games. 1,100 priced up, only 900, 1,200 for Morales. 1,200 for Morales is interesting for DraftKings because he's trending up. You know, he's a 360, he's a 317, he's hitting a 450. He's trending up, and his price may not even be catching him yet on DraftKings. That may be a big DraftKings value for you. Kendrick Morales, 1,200. 1,200 for Pilar. God, 4,000 feels expensive for him. 1,400 for McKinney. 1,000 for... Okay, so not exactly dramatically priced up, but a little bit. You got a couple guys that are priced up over about $1,000. Go to Milwaukee. Braun, Kane, Moustakas, if Braun starts. Trending up, trending down a little bit, but Moustakas is one of your ISO guys. Look at his last 7-day ISO. Ouch. That's why he's not trending up. That's why he's trending down a little bit. But priced up 1,100, priced up 1,100, priced up 1,800. Braun is a big-time value on FanDuel today. If he gets the start. He's trending up. He's priced way up. Milwaukee's in a good spot as an offense. That's a good cash one-off on FanDuel. You might check his game log, make sure he's consistently run, but he is. If he's running this, he's running pretty consistently. That's how you're going to use these numbers. That's how you're going to start blending these things together. Let's jump into Houston really quick. And I think we can probably wrap it up from there. I may want to show you one other thing with Texas. But, okay, so we're looking at the price gap, 1,000, 1,500 for Gurriel. 500 only for Bregman, which is interesting because some of these guys are $5,000 players on DraftKings, and 1,100 for Gaddis. But Gaddis is a 225, and he's really getting hot. Really getting hot, so that price gap may be a little false narrative. Gurriel, really getting hot. He's $1,500 priced up. See? So this may be a DraftKings value. You see where I'm starting to kind of come up with these? You see how I'm starting to kind of read between the lines and read the numbers and try and figure out what makes logical sense? That's all we do. And then you got to go put the lineups together and you got to go assemble the lineups. But Houston's in a good spot. 3-star offense out of 5 stars today, apparently. We'll see how this pans out. Like I said, we made a change. We're going to have to follow this for a while. We're going to have to do this for a little while. God, I'm on 35 minutes. I apologize, guys. If you stayed with me this whole time, you win the Iron Man Award. Show you one more thing in Texas, and then we'll bail. A lot of guys on the playable list, right? A lot of guys running 500 and 400. But watch this. $500 difference, $1,400 difference for Calhoun if he starts. $700 difference, $600 difference, $800 difference, $400 difference. There's $900 difference. How many of these guys did you hear me mention were over $1,000 difference? Like one, right? Like almost none of them. These guys are all priced down. Now, if you like that theory again on DraftKings, you'd take the discount and you'd dive all over Texas. As a FanDuel guy, I look at this and wonder why. Byers is an okay pitcher, but he was vulnerable. DFS grades look okay. Trending up, trending up, trending down, trending down, trending's the same, trending up. A lot of these guys are trending up. I don't know. I don't know what the research station sees. I don't know what DraftKings sees to price these guys the way they're pricing them and to rate them the way they're rating them. What I know is all I can do is look at these numbers and make a call. If it's me being a two-star offense and being somewhat priced down as a Fanduel guy, I'm probably off them. As a DraftKings guy, I might be really excited about those discounts. So we'll see what Texas does tonight. Hopefully we remember to talk about it tomorrow and review. But anyway, what you can do for me is like and subscribe to the channel. You can use the coupon code CHOP when you sign up to be a VIP at DFSArmy.com. That was a very thorough breakdown for a Monday to get your Monday rocking and rolling. Got plenty of time to use the data today. You got plenty of time to jump in, be a VIP, unlock the Slack channel, unlock these tools for yourself, and peruse around all of our other content today before lock. Why don't you do that? Click the link in the comments section, come back and talk to me in the Slack channels, and talk to me tomorrow out there on YouTube, and we'll see how the results went today, and what we'll end up doing is probably doing it all over again tomorrow. Lather, rinse, repeat, just like you're washing your hair. This has been Chop-A-Dong. It's been Chop-A-Dong. It's been a fun time. Come see me at DFS Army. We out!